beautiful friends, and welcome to another edition of the Biohacked Life podcast. Ooh, are you in for a treat today? First and foremost, love to thank our sponsor, Neo Life Physical Therapy in D'Iberville. Guys, like I said, that's where I get all my work done. They are amazing, incredible staff. Dr. Robby D'Angelo is awesome at what he does, and he has a real mind, body, a soul approach to physical therapy, which you'll love as soon as you get in there, guys. So go check them out. All right, today I have Mr. Richard Hawthorne in the studio. Yes, the one-time pound-for-pound strongest man in the world, but he's so much more than that, and that's what we're going to get into today, guys. Part of living the biohacked life, and our mission is to help you live an optimized life to your highest potential, and that's literally what this guy has committed his life to doing, is not only doing that for himself, but doing that for those around him. So, Richard, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. First, appreciate you having me on the show.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited. We had you on old podcast, but I want to bring you back on because I know how much value you have inside of you, and I'm going to help unpack a little bit of that today for our audience. Love starting off the podcast this way. What is something today you're grateful for?
The chance to experience life, just experience. I'm grateful for that because all experiences are good experiences, no matter if it's good or bad. So I'm grateful for experiencing.
It's true, man. Isn't this life beautiful?
It's beautifully ugly and ugly. I can't even say it backwards, but yeah.
Yeah, it is.
All in the same.
It is. Okay, so next question is, if you had to have a walkout song for life, what would it be?
You forewarned me about this.
Right, I did.
But I need a little more time. It's just so hard to narrow things down to that
Mhm.
because it's just like how I look at lifting. It's so many different perspectives of me.
Right.
To narrow down.
So I'm going to remind you of your answer last time.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah. What was my answer last time? Because it will change. It will always change.
100%. Your answer last time was silence.
There we go.
Because you love the silent of the weight room, the weights, and the environment was really what you're talking about. Just being in the environment, being present,
Yes.
and that was your music at the moment.
Yep. That was my music. That was my music.
Yeah.
I'd probably choose that. But yes, definitely.
Yeah, which I love that answer because it's so true because we don't do that enough. So many times, and let's just go ahead and get into it. So many times we need triggers to get us to a heightened state instead of letting it just be like, instead of just naturally being in that heightened state. Like we need that music trigger. I know for myself, I've actually, over the last few months, been trying to spend more time in silence, just listening to natural sounds, not needing to constantly have music or something going in my ears. Because, there for a while, I think I was probably playing Pandora for 70, 80 hours a week at one point in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just always on. And then I switched to podcasts, and between driving around, everything I was listening like 3 or 4 hours of podcasts every day. And I'm like, yes, I love listening to the information. I love gathering it all in, but I need to get present again.
You need to decipher what you witness, whether it's feel, whether it's sight, whether it's your thoughts. You got to be able to decipher all that. So therefore, if you have a distraction, which is music or anything else outside of you, you won't be able to decipher you.
Right.
So a lot of people can't sit in silence. That's one of the silence and being alone is one of the number one feared things in life.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't learn yourself if you don't put yourself in that position.
Right.
But on the talk of motivation, I don't like the word motivation.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why, motivation is good, but the way I see motivation is it's an instant thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a reaction. So once, say, in my field, a lot of people go on Instagram and YouTube, and they see these things and be like, oh man, it's awesome. I'm gonna do it just like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But as soon as you shut it off, it's an outside
That's external.
drive. Exactly.
Right.
Once you turn that off and you go do that and you get, to the point of actually doing what you want to do, it's like, oh, I don't have it no more.
Mel Robbins has famously said, motivation is never there when you need it.
Exactly.
When times get tough, I don't care. You don't want to listen to motivational crap. You just don't want it when times get tough. So she says that, and when she first said it, I'm like, wow. Because her famous line that she became famous for is she literally said motivation is garbage.
I mean,
Because it's never there when you need it.
it's never there when you need it.
No, it's not. I mean, it's so much fun listening to positive motivational things when you're in a good mood.
Yes.
When you're in a bad mood, that's the last thing you want to hear.
Turn it off. We was just kind of talking about that.
Right.
Before,
Yeah.
you had just did a podcast with
Yeah, the branding marketing, Roberta.
same thing. I'm the same way. When you need that information and motivation, you know what I mean. The times that you don't want to hear it. I mean,
Right. At the times you probably need it the most.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this guy is really known for deadlift. That's his bread and butter, guys. I go online and watch this man's YouTube videos of him deadlifting. It's just incredible. He's got the nickname the Ant for a reason, because you watch him just deadlift 600 pounds like it's nothing, and you're like, wow. The first time I met him, I was like, hold on, that's him? That's the guy that does that? Yeah. So when we're talking about like getting into a heightened state, what does that look like for you? Like before you go and lift these, massive amounts of weights that are 4 or 5 times your body weight, what does it look like for you mentally getting ready for that?
It's putting myself in the position. What does it look like as far as say if I'm getting ready to do it? Um,
If you're going for a new PR in deadlift,
okay.
what does that 30 minutes of mental preparation look like before you go do it?
Breathing. So of course I'm doing my warm ups and things like that. But even the night before, I'm really silent, and I the night before is more of pondering and you know um, a lot of fear, a lot of doubt, and things like that.
Right.
But breathing through it. So breathing through it, or facing your fears, facing your doubts, thinking about it, sitting, like I said earlier, sitting in silence.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter who you are and how good you are with something, it's those moments.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because in my perspective, one, instead of me just not starting to do this, now people are expecting me to do this.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I feel obligated, to give that to them. So, it's actually, my preparation is facing the fear, no matter what. Anytime when we do anything great, that's you stepping up to that fear.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of breathing, calming my nerves down, which saves energy.
Right. Oh, that's big. I didn't even think about that.
Yes,
You're in like maximum energy conservation mode
exactly.
before you go and deadlift.
Everything is either energy in or energy out.
Right.
So it just really everything. It's just the small, minute things that most people don't think about.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly breathing and.
Is there a certain breathing technique you use?
Basic breathing in the nose, exhaling out the mouth.
Is there a count to that?
No, just being relaxed. Try not to control it. Same thing. So your breathing is whatever's good for you. I mean, it's just going to be hard, regardless of me explaining what's good for anybody else. But naturally, breathing in the nose and exhaling out the mouth is the best, because anytime when you mouth breathe, that's huffing and puffing.
Mm-hmm.
Huffing and puffing is a lesser form of oxidating the body, because of the way you think. If you think about it, like if you're mad or pissed off at somebody, you're gonna huff and puff. The reason why you're huffing and puffing is because you're not getting the right amount of oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
in your body. So therefore, the way you breathe is the way you think or react.
Right.
So being relaxed and allow the breathing to happen, instead of you actually focusing on the rhythm or pace of breathing.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So
Have you ever tried hyperoxygenation, like through breathing?
are you talking about
Like Wim Hof? Yeah.
that's a part of it. I mean, when you start breathing and using just, I don't even want to say breathing techniques. When you just start breathing and really dive down into breathing,
Mm-hmm.
that's what typically happens. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because the more oxygen you get, and especially the efficiency of the oxygen that you get, you preserve. You see what I'm saying? You preserve in your lungs, in the I can't even think of the name of the little oxygen sacs that we have.
Like capillaries or something like that.
I can't think right now, but um, what tends to happen is you preserve that oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, like with seals, they practice what he's talking about.
Right.
They practice that, and the more you do that, the longer you can actually hold your breath.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that just comes with the nature of breathing. You
Yeah.
start to learn that as you experience breathing.
Yeah, because like here recently, I've been really working hard to control my breath when lifting weights. And right now I'm doing like some circuit training, and the rest that I take between, like if I go from one machine to another, the rest I take is 3 like really powerful breaths,
Mm-hmm.
just in the nose, out the mouth, like literally as long as hard as I can both ways. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that 3 times, and then I'll start to lift.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding like by that hyperoxygenation in a short period of time, my actual lifting like set goes so much better.
So much better.
Instead of just like going from set to set to set,
You
just taking those 3 breaths.
you'll probably start feeling like a euphoric feeling
Oh,
as well.
absolutely.
So that's something else that you actually start to understand and witness. You know what I mean?
And it keeps me present too.
Exactly. It keeps you present. It keeps you witnessing. Witnessing what's actually going on instead of thinking. You're just saying, okay, this is what's going on. This is what I feel. Blah 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 blah. That's why in my information is a like the information that I give in lifting or in powerlifting, however anybody want to kind of describe me, is that I don't think like anybody else is because anybody else or give the information as anybody else is because I'm witnessing the experiences that I have.
Right.
So I'm always feeling energy flow and explaining everything by that instead of by eyesight.
Correct.
Most information is given by eyesight, how something operates instead of how it actually operates in itself, like kinesiology and then the study of yoga, or kinesiology or the study of gymnastics. That's two different things.
Yeah.
Which one is best? My opinion is the actual art of gymnastics or the art of yoga, because you actually knowing what the body actually do instead of saying, well, this muscle does this, so I gotta operate that muscle. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
It's actually feeling the muscle
it's
doing
actually
that work.
feeling the body, the individual muscles, but not even per se the muscle, but feeling the chain of energy going through the body.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's the difference between what I have done and capable of doing from someone saying, well, approach it in an aggressive way, saying, well, I got to do this, so I got to activate this and allow my muscles to do that. No, allow the body to do that for you by staying calm and breathe. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's two different approaches than saying, well, I'm a kinesiologist and the muscle does this and I'm going to make it. No,
You're speaking about being just more intuitive.
being more intuitive,
Right.
what you're knowing what you're doing and surrendering to it.
How do you surrender during a deadlift? That just seems like duality to me.
Yeah, I mean it's of course it's intuitive, counterintuitive, but
Right.
everything when you're good at anything is a bunch of counterintuitiveness.
It is. Yeah, when you hit those flow states,
Oh yeah.
it's amazing to see. Like, I know there's been times where I've been like in an interview or talking to a client where like 30 minutes later I'm like, hold on, what just happened? I think I just hit some gold there. And it was amazing, but you just like totally lose yourself in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that comes from just doing.
Exactly. Experiencing. I mean, you're exactly right. So, like I said, in everything that we do, if you're a specialist at something, you got to understand that there's so many different aspects and perspectives that you have to put into it.
Right.
So when you do that, you really have to surrender and let everything play its own role, and that's just
And I'm glad you bring this up because it kind of brings me to the next point. So when people used to always call me and ask me to write them a diet,
mm-hmm.
hey, what diet should I go on? Like, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
We can find out the answer
Yes.
through some trial and error,
Yeah.
but I can't tell you, hey, you should eat this way.
Yep.
Hey, the keto diet's going to work great for you.
Yep.
Hey, eating vegan's going to work great for you. I don't know that because I don't know your DNA. I don't know your gut microbiome. I don't know all these answers. But through enough trial and error, through intuitive eating, keeping a journal, learning your body, we can get there.
Exactly.
And I think that's that's what a lot of people miss because let's be honest, we want immediate gratification.
Yes.
We want the answer, we want it right now. We want the magic pill instead of doing like guys like me and you have done where we've literally made it our craft to learn
Yes.
our body
Yes.
and we've learned okay, this works for me, this doesn't. Like I know I'm hypersensitive to carbs. If I want to gain muscle, I'll eat carbs and gain muscle, but I ain't losing fat during the process. It's just that's the way my body works. Yeah.
Having that understanding and be willing to surrender to your approach.
It's surrendering to the process
Exactly.
and saying this is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It may take me 2 or 3 months to find my eating style, but I can still find it.
Yes.
So with your own eating style, we're kind of talking about this before we started recording. So kind of walk me through the evolution of that and how you've got to where you're at now.
Just from the beginning, period, from a young kid to now, I was always active.
Right.
I grew up in the famous Cedar Grove.
Mm-hmm. Famous.
Yes.
Famous.
Many of major athletes, next level athletes, came out of it. Not only just athletes, but people who do well in business and things
Mm-hmm.
like that.
It's true.
Very competitive. But so with me saying I stay active, I've naturally all my life been like fast, intermittent fast.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, I don't eat anything during the morning, and I would eat after 12, um, after 12, and no later than around 7 or 8 o'clock. That's just natural.
Right.
That's what I've been doing most of my life. And I want to say about 2 years ago, I went vegan. I enjoyed that. I didn't lose. Of course, a lot of people say, "Well, you vegan, you're doing the veganism thing. You're gonna lose strength. You're gonna do all this." That didn't happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Efficient fuel is good. Um, um, the only thing that I hated about the veganism is that crave for sugar. If you do any kind of, lifestyle of being vegan or anything like that, once you have a taste of sugar, your body is going to crave
Oh my God, does it?
badly.
Yes, I know.
But other than that, like I said, I go by how my body's been operating from the get go, and me being as natural as possible. I always try to be as natural as possible. So I found out for me, if I eat anything before 12, my day is going to be crap.
It is, yeah.
I get sleepy, lethargic, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? But if I wait till after 12,
Mm-hmm.
then I get another boost of energy. But
Right.
before that, it's just
Yeah, you knock those hormones out of whack. I know for myself, like, if I am going to eat any type of breakfast, I'll always go with a high-fat breakfast, high-fat and protein. And if I eat carbs for breakfast, you're right. I immediately am like, I want to go take a nap. And I'm like, okay, well, carbs supposed to be an energy source. No, it doesn't work like that. So yeah, if I do ever eat breakfast, it's always whole eggs, avocado, something along those lines. And I find that works. But for my brain health, I always do better. Like I get my best work done as soon as I wake up till I eat my first meal. Like that's when I'm the most hyper focused. That's when I'm able to knock things out. And then when I start eating later in the day, it kind of like almost flips my brain over to like almost like creative mode. I'm able to like creative think a lot more than just like hyper focus. So it's fun like learning stuff about the body. So what? Like so now you're probably still eating a ton of vegetables, knowing you, but you've probably reintroduced meat back in.
Yes.
And like,
Yes.
is it all meat, red meat? Like, what's
So
going on
here's
there?
the thing. This is me being natural and having a balanced life. Okay. So a lot of people think that I'm strict on eating. I'm not. I am not strict by any means. But again, I don't eat that much
Mm-hmm.
either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people a lot of people tend to think, well, um, I gotta I gotta eat perfect this way, that way, whatever. But we're all human. We
Mm-hmm.
do like to taste different things.
Absolutely.
But if you take a person, and this goes right into, like, so I'm a power lifter, and a lot of people ask me, about what weight class should they be in, and they want to get stronger, so should they gain weight and all this other stuff. It's like, one, the Western world, period, we think more is better.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yes. None of that. Of course, we should all know that simplicity is always best. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So with that being said, is the fact that um, if we all was to shy down what our intake, you know what I mean, we're gonna go directly to the body that we're supposed to.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So whether you can gain weight, most people gonna lose weight automatically.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But there's also people that when they eat the way they're supposed to, they're gonna gain weight. So you become your natural form and build. You know what
Right.
I mean? So once you keep it simple and you stay true to that, of course, everybody reacts to different, like, carbs or protein and all that differently.
Yeah.
But you can actually control that by your intake and outtake. Outtake meaning your output of energy of whatever you're doing throughout the day. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So per se, I'm definitely not a strict eater, but as far as as far as my calories or macros or what all that good stuff, I'm just balance and trying to stay um, productive to my performance. We get fitness wrong where we think fitness is a look, the exterior or the cosmetic. No, fitness is a well-rounded um, physical, mental, spiritual, and staying simple with these things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with the understanding of all that, you have to really just say, okay, I need to be balanced.
Right. I mean,
So
what person do you work with doesn't try to overcomplicate things?
exactly,
Everyone
exactly.
does.
That's the hardest thing, is not overcomplicate.
Yeah. My thing that I tell every one of my clients, like, look, let's just win the day
Yes.
and don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
If you win the day, everything else will take care of itself.
But then again, you can get misconstrued of what's winning the day.
Yeah. Oh no, they have 5 simple steps every day. Like, here's your goals. Boom, 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 boom. If you hit those 5, you won.
That's
If you
what's up.
if you miss one, we need to figure out why. And
And
you're right. It's baby steps.
it's always baby steps. And to kind of combat that, make you think a little bit more.
Please.
Um, where I'm at now is winning the day is to where, okay, these are my goals, or these are the things that I want, but understand there's going to be a million and one things that's going to pop up that day to stop me to do it from it.
100%.
So a win is, for me, is to understand that, but also when something happens and I don't meet one of those goals, don't beat myself over, beat myself up,
100% agree.
about it. So being okay, having a goal, wanting to strive to reach that goal, but if I miss that goal, being okay with not missing it. So we witnessing, and not laying judgment on ourselves, because that again will cause stress,
Right.
which will revert back. So just understanding, okay, I have no control. So what's that saying? What's that saying? If I if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So
true.
you know,
And I think for me, and you're 100% right. But for me, it goes back to the effort.
yes, no,
Like, if you're giving 100% effort and something came up, grandma fell, broke her hip, you had to take her to the hospital, something like that comes up, and you don't hit your goals.
Yes.
It's not from a lack of effort.
Exactly.
But if your butt was sitting at home watching 3 episodes of House of Cards,
Yeah.
then we had a problem. But your intention and effort
Yes.
was, as long as your intention and effort's there, I like, even like my friendships and relationships, I'm like, look, we're not perfect, we're all human, we're going to make mistakes, but if your intention and effort was there, I'm not going to fault you,
Yes.
because that is all you can control.
Yes.
You can't control anything else
Yes.
besides your intention and effort. So just give that to the best of your ability.
Exactly.
Everything else will take care of itself.
And be okay with it.
Right.
Be okay with it. Yep. That's
Um, like, I find myself now giving more relationship advice that I'm comfortable with, because that's not my area of expertise. But exactly. But in a relationship, I tell people, like, look, if you gave 100% to that relationship, if you gave 100% of who you are and your truth to the other person, that's all you can do.
of who, and that's the key word. So, of who you are. And here's the problem with relationships is the fact that um, everybody get in these relationships, but they're not comfortable with themselves.
Right, 100%.
You see what I'm saying? So therefore, there's always going to be a issue, because before you get in a relationship, you should fully know who you are. Because once you fully know who you are, and that person know that you fully know who you are, then they're gonna accept you for you, and they're gonna be okay with what you give them. But also, of course, you want to meet that bridge. But if you're okay with yourself, you'll be able to do those
Right.
extra steps.
And if they're not okay with who you are authentically,
Vice versa.
you're not supposed to be together.
Exactly.
It's very simple.
So exactly. So with all that, with me saying all that, at the end of the day, a lot of people don't like this saying, or this word is selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
We are so taught to be selfless.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Selfless is a bad word to me.
I agree.
Because when you are selfless, you don't think about yourself. So that means you don't love yourself enough to pay attention to who you are and your needs, but you're quick to go do something for somebody else.
Get them.
But if you love yourself, you're gonna take care of yourself, and you're gonna be in the right areas and positions in your life to take care of your loved ones and everyone else around you.
Right. To me, like, being selfless, you're able to help others on like a level 5.
Yep.
But if you fully love yourself and take care of yourself, and you're pouring from that overflowing cup,
Yes.
now you're able to help people on a level 10.
Yes.
Like you and I both know, we can't show up to do what we do for a living if we don't first take care of ourselves.
Yes.
If we're in a crappy, dark place,
Yes.
the person we're about to go serve is going to get some crappy, dark energy from us.
Yes. Yes.
But if we take care of ourselves for an hour before we come help someone else, then we're just pouring out of love.
Yeah.
And it's so much more amazing to help someone out of an overflowing cup, because then it's just like, it's abundance.
Yep.
At that point. And it's not you're trying to give from lack.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to pour from an empty cup.
It is so. Not only is it's so hard. It's 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 a push for it's a push of desperation.
It is.
Because deep down you want to help, but you're forcing the issue to help, and then on top of you forcing the issue to help, you tend to lose. Um, you tend to. I would say this: you're approaching. You want to be perceived a certain way. You see what I'm saying? So you lose the actual want to help, but you want the people to see you a certain way instead of actually just wanting to help.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's
No, I love that. Yeah, that's true.
It turns in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that. All right, well, let's keep this train rolling, man. I love these conversations. Like, this is what I live for, man. This is why I love doing this podcast, conversations like this. So let's get into some of the ways that, like, some real action stuff that the audience can take away. I mean, of course, they've already gotten a ton of action stuff if they accept it. But some ways people can, enhance who they are, become the best version of themselves, living your best life. Yeah. What's the first thing someone should do, in your opinion?
I'm getting ready to say is the fact that you have to face your fear. Optimizing optimizing your life is getting comfortable with the things that makes you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Once you can get comfortable with the things you're uncomfortable with, that's when you actually grow because you get to experience. Life is nothing but an experience,
Right.
moments of experience. The more experience you get, the better you get at it. You see what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah.
So optimize your life, you have to be comfortable with, okay, I hate this. Let me go ahead and do it. And then the more you do it, you be like, oh, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Immersion therapy.
Yeah, exactly. So you're throwing yourself in the water to learn how to swim.
Right.
So um, so keeping it as simple as possible is, getting used to being uncomfortable so that those things that make you uncomfortable are no longer uncomfortable,
They're no longer scary.
no longer scary.
Yeah.
So you actually again start to love yourself more because let me say this. I had a situation at my gym where
Southern Elite Fitness in D'Arville.
yes,
Little plug there.
Audemars Parkway, um, where someone, it was a misfortune of somebody taking something, and and I hate having to go and seem to be the bad guy, but I have to take care of my facility. You know
Right.
what I mean? I have to take care of myself and things like that. But I had to confront and I had to, have this conversation and it had to be consequences for that person and things
Of
like
course.
that. Um, so it always, I hate that. Like I said, that I'm uncomfortable with that. You know what I mean? But that's needed. But at the end of that situation, I sat back and said to myself, "Dang, I hate that, but man, I just learned how to deal with that situation. This is life, going through the things that you hate, but it's like, shoot, next time I know how to go through it. I know
Mm-hmm.
how to, make that approach.
Right.
This is life. This is experiencing. We like to think of life as having those good experiences and say, well, I can remember this time and we had fun, blah 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 blah. But a lot of times, if you really think about it, the things that you really laugh at, like when you're watching comedy, when people talking about different situations, and you can really laugh hard about it, is because in those moments is you went through those hard times and you was like, man, I was so stupid back then, but you can laugh at it. You know what I mean?
So
That's
true.
that's to me that's more enjoyable than actual remembering the good times because
Mm-hmm.
well, I was there, but I'm here now. You
Right.
know what I mean?
I think it's coupled because you learn something too.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is that experience of saying, dang, I've grown. You know what I mean? So it's always so much funnier. You know what I mean? When somebody on a stand up comedy and they talk about something embarrassing, you like, man, I did the same thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You got those tear jerkers. So
Mm-hmm.
that's that's where I try to stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course it's hard. You know what I
I
mean?
had that conversation with a lady. Literally, it was Wednesday night. This past Wednesday, a couple days ago. She was 23 years old and she's trying to figure out life. What should I be doing? Should I go back to school? I have a passion for this. Should I be doing that? And like my advice was to her, I was like, just start doing. You're 23 years old. You've got plenty of time to figure this out. You don't have to go back to college tomorrow.
Yes.
It'll be there a year from now, I promise. Just start doing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a passion for this, try to monetize it. See if you like it.
Yep.
I tried monetizing one of my passions at one point in my life. I hated it.
It's
I love cooking. Once I monetized it was no fun anymore.
no fun.
So that's what I told her. I was like, look, you just got to start doing. Just start doing, and you'll figure it out. I promise.
Yes.
You'll figure out what you like doing. But so many people, like with her, I could tell the reason she wasn't doing was fear. She was letting the fear of what would happen if that, like, what if, what if. I'm like, you're right. What if? What if something good happens?
Exactly.
Why do we have to immediately revert back to something bad?
Mm-hmm.
What if something good happens? What if I start a catering business or whatever, and I get 10 clients my first month, and now I'm operating on a 6-figure business my first year. What if something good happens?
But that's the thing too is we say good and bad. To me, there's no such thing. Now this where people look at me weird and be like, no good or bad. It's all perspective.
It is.
No matter what. But we look at things as being bad, but at the same time, no matter what is setting you up, is giving you that experience.
Right.
Because, like I said, we can laugh at the things that was bad before. It's giving you that experience to go through it, and then later on, you know, you can look back and laugh at it and be like, I know this now. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Every quote unquote bad thing is actually a lesson in
Oh
preparing
yeah.
you for what's to come. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I would rather take a bad situation than a good situation because in a good situation, I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not really going to grow from, you know. So um, to kind of revert back to the original question of the approach in life, to optimize. Today I had the deadlift and I'm just my third or fourth week back, you know, getting back into it again. Um, I have 4 sets of 8 on my third week. Okay, and 4 sets of 8 is usually the toughest.
That's a
Um,
lot of reps on deads,
well,
especially going as heavy as you go.
yeah. So, well, 10 sets. I do 10 sets of 10.
A little
That's
German
the
volume training.
yeah. That's I hate I hate it the most. 10 sets of 10.
Mm-hmm.
As far as um, mentally,
Yeah.
4 sets of 8 is I hate it the most physically.
Okay.
Um, so today I had 4 sets of 8 and everything just felt heavy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just felt heavy. And usually I'm able to go a little bit heavier, but it's just you never know what
How
you're
much
gonna
weight did
get
you have
into.
today?
Today, the last set was just 475.
475.
Yeah.
8 times.
Um, that is heavy.
And how
But
much do you weigh?
well, 130. But
130.
I mean, like I said, to say this, and of course I don't like talking about exactly what I do or how much I can do, but say 475, but usually I do 500 for 10.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
to kind of give you the contrast of this morning, 475 for 8, I'm like, it was a hard, it was a
And
hard
grinders.
day, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Physically, you know what I mean? So I was getting ready to do my third um, set, and I'm like, oh, this is heavy. But I sat there and I thought about it. I was like, but this is what I want. I know my end game. It's only going to last a second, so
Mm-hmm.
why not do it? But also do it right. You
Right.
know what I mean? And to try to take that approach in every little thing that we do. You know what I mean? Um,
Do you know
is
why
a
today was a
huge
rough day?
thing. Do I know why today is? There's many different there's many different reasons why, but say physically, usually 4 sets of 8 is always hard because of the transition of a 10 sets of 10. So that's super high,
Mm-hmm.
compared to 4 sets of 8.
Right.
So it's a transition of um, a heavier, getting used to the heavier weight than a little bit lighter for more reps. So it's just always going to be hard. Four
Mm-hmm.
sets of 8 physically compared to 10 sets of 10. Now, the mental aspect of say, and this is exactly how I wrote or see the way I train. 10 sets of 10 is, of course, I hate it, but I love it at the same time.
Yeah.
10 sets of 10 does a lot of things, and this is exactly what we need to do in life too. Is this is what I base my lifting off of? Is 10 sets of 10? You doing 10 sets of 10 for practice make perfect. You want to
Mm-hmm.
hit 100 reps,
Right.
right? So the more reps you get, you're practicing, you're getting better, and you're molding your body to do these movements. Okay. Not only that, 10 sets of 10. When you get to when you get to well, not that one yet, but 10 sets of 10, you're working on sustaining your structure, being
Right.
able
Keeping
to,
that form the entire
yes,
time.
being able to maintain your structure. That's what we need to be able to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one is drive, and what drive is around set six, or it is set six. Um, that's where you catch your second win. So the difference between me and any other elite lifter is the fact that for years I've been catching my second win in lifting. So I don't do anything less than 60 reps in what I'm doing before I actually do my work sets. So I have 60 reps
Oh
in.
wow.
So the thing is with drive is not only it's the second win, but once you get to the 60 rep and you start on 61, you're like, oh man, I'm tired. This is heavy, blah, 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 blah. But you notice your body just keeps going.
What do you think that is? Like, what do you think really the second wind really is?
Second wind is really what you mean. It's exactly that. So, second wind is one, prepping the body, um, prepping the body, and the body's actually really ready. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people want to get into workouts and get straight to the work set, but your body's not ready.
Right. I agree with
And
that.
it's just like hopping in your car when it's 30 something degrees outside. You're not gonna hop in your car and just put it in reverse and then go at it.
Yeah.
That's damaging, and that's what a lot of people do. You know what I mean? It's you need to prepare the body
But is there
for.
like on a real physical level, is there like a chemical release or
Oh
lactic
yeah, of course.
like what actually happens to the body in a second wind? Because I've always wondered that, like, if the second wind was just you realizing how far you can push your body, if it was just
It's
purely mental, or if there was
it's
something actually physically
it's
happening.
both. It's both, and that's where that's where I was getting ready to go. So, the second win was the third thing. So or drive, which is the same thing. Um, and I'll go back to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me exactly how you asked it. But the next thing in tens is the mental fortitude. So not only you sitting there having to do all these reps, really being present of what's actually going on, feeling what you're doing, hitting rep after rep after rep, but also you have to maintain your structure throughout the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you're tired, blah blah blah, this and that. So you got to go through all three of those while maintaining your mental fortitude. See what I'm saying? So you
Right.
want to stand your ground in all three of those things. So you're building the ability to withstand, whatever you're doing. So for me, 10 sets of 10. What's one rep max compared to 10 sets of 10? It's nothing.
Right.
So therefore, of course, my one rep max is going to be through the roof. Is because as soon as I get that one rep max on my back or in my hands or whatever, I'm immediately tired. You know what I mean? And it's heavy, and I have to sustain my structure. But that's only 1 second compared to that whole 10 sets of 10.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I love that. Yeah.
So with what actually the question that
Mm-hmm.
you just gave me exactly how did you ask it?
When you get like when because people always hear like runners talk about their second win, weightlifters talk about their second win. I mean, you can literally feel it happening during the
Yep.
workout when when you're pushing your body.
Mm-hmm.
So how much of that is just a mental roadblock we get over, versus how much is it like actually something physically that happens in the body?
It's both. Everything is simultaneous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we get misconstrued about everything in life is we think everything is separate. Being separate is the number one corporate for evil. Period.
Right.
It's all the same. So mentally, the whole aspect of it is of course witnessing again, witnessing what you're feeling and not laying judgment. When you lay judgment, that means you're reacting to what you're feeling or thinking, things like that. So the reaction is, I need to stop. I'm tired.
Yeah.
That's you see what I'm saying?
I feel pain. I need to go to comfort.
Exactly. So therefore, everything we go people look at the gym as being a physical thing, but the gym is nothing more or less but a mental thing.
I
Your
100% agree.
body is only going to change when you mentally change. The physical is just always a result. So so it is simultaneous. Once you start going into the mind for all this stuff, um, the body will chemically change. The body will chemically be able to endure. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that's just like with being diagnosed with something where doctors say, well, you only have 6 months to live. If you change your mindset, your body will chemically. And a lot of people think, you get these diseases or colds or whatever physically, but it's a mental thing. It's because you're thinking a certain way, you're releasing or not releasing certain hormones.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? You causing these diseases or yourself to be prone to certain things. You know what I mean? But once you get in a better place, your body start functioning right, releasing the right hormones and things like that. So it's always simultaneous to the mind and physical, because the mind will will demand the physical to do whatever it needs to do. You
Right.
know what I mean? Um, and to go a little bit further than that, so when I compete or I'm doing a lift for the crowd, the thing is after the process of my doubt and walking towards that fear is the fact that I've been training and doing it physically only because of my mind saying we got to do this and trying to stay as perfect as possible or what I can while I can do it. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Once you do that and it's time to perform, then therefore the mental, the physical comes together
Yeah.
again, and then you don't think. You don't. I don't approach. It's the spiritual realm. This is what I call the spiritual realm. You approach the bar with no judgment. Because every time I get ready to lift, I'm not looking at the weights because that's a physical thing. I get aggressive and I want to activate the muscles and all that. But at that point, it's nothing more but allowing the body to uh, be comfortable, relax, and operate the way it's supposed to because of the mind has been disciplined, the body has been disciplined. Now they're communicating together, and amazing things happen.
Right.
So that's to go a little bit further with that.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't see is, of course, like they'll see you on YouTube lifting these incredible amounts of weight, and then they'll see you like in the gym, and like people that work out with you see how many hours you put into the gym perfecting your craft. But it even goes one step further than that. When you're not in the gym, you're still perfecting your craft in the gym, which translates to the actual competition.
Yes.
So it goes so much deeper and so many more hours than people understand. Like with me, I had a guy ask me one time, he's like, hey, Robbie, you're coaching now. What qualifies you to be a coach? Like, how do you coach people? What gave you the skill to do this? And I brought him in my other room, and I showed him a stack of papers, probably about 6-8 inches high. I said, "You see that? And the next month, I'm gonna have all that read and digested." And he just kind of looked at me like, I was like, "That's the work that I'm willing to do, that other people aren't, because I want to be the best at my craft."
With that being said, to become a great teacher, you have to be a great student.
Oh yeah.
So therefore, I have a lot of information and knowledge in what I do, but when I train someone, you always have to be open. And I tell them, always ask me questions. Okay, I'm not only teaching you, but I'm teaching myself while I'm teaching you,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm learning you because you're asking these questions,
Right.
and I'm teaching you how to learn from yourself. So it's always so many different dynamics to where I'm constantly learning no matter what.
100%.
You see what I'm saying? So the more you talk to somebody or more you talk to people, so in your sense of doing the podcast thing, the more you talk and listen, the more you learn, and you get to take on your perspective or many different perspectives and learn from it. So we're so wrapped up into um, we're so engorged into information and looking at information and witnessing the information, we're constantly learning. But what a lot of people miss is the is that in itself. When they become good at something, this is the end all be all, or they're not. You know what I mean? They're not continuing wanting to learn. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
And
it's
it's a process. I mean, I'm I'm to the point in my life right now where I'm just addicted to
yes,
learning,
yes,
and it's funny, like me differ like separating my wanting to learn versus me just being able to relax,
yes,
because I'm always in that mindset of how can I learn from this, what's going on in the situation, what psychological factors are at play.
mm-hmm.
I'm always wanting to learn, and even with like when I work with my clients, I have to first learn them
Mm-hmm.
before I can help them,
Exactly.
and that requires me just shutting up and listening.
Listening. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
when you're, I was working out with one of my buddies, Chase, a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "Hey, check my form on this, like making sure I'm doing this right, like making sure I'm squeezing the muscle." I'm like, "Bro, I don't know if you're squeezing the muscle or not. Like, only you can feel that."
Only you can. Yeah.
And I'm like, "Bro, everybody's biomechanics are different. So my elbow placement when I'm doing lat pull down might be a couple of degrees off from your elbow placement when you're doing lat pull down because of your biomechanics and how you're squeezing the muscle." I said, "That's just something you got to feel, man. You got to feel your way through that movement and understand your best contraction
Yes.
when that happens."
Yes. Yes.
Um, but that's one of the things I love about you and your approach to everything is you're that perpetual student, always perfecting your craft, knowing there is never anything called perfect.
Yes.
It's that quest for perfection, understanding it will never be perfect.
And what you're saying is practice. Everything is a practice.
Mm-hmm.
We're always practicing. No
Right.
matter what you do, no matter what you're doing, whether you're cooking, when you're cooking, that is a practice. You know what I mean? If you're walking, that is a practice. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're constantly practicing and learning and witnessing. You know what I mean? What we're doing. You know, what I mean? Or we should, what we're doing instead of you know cutting off cutting off that sense of knowledge because when you do all that again you're learning yourself
100%.
so
I'll have revelations about myself as I'm helping someone.
oh yeah
Like
exactly
I'm coaching them through a problem, and I'm like, oh man, I just
exactly
realized this about myself. Like, wow, I totally put myself in your shoes right now because I do the same thing, and it's amazing what happens when you're in that service mode because it's what you're talking about. It's Carol Dweck mindset, great book, talk about just a growth mindset, and that's where a guy like you is, and literally everything that crosses in front of your eyes, in your ears, in your mouth, like you're always learning, and everything is an opportunity to learn. If you go, next week and you miss one of your sets, all right, well, let me learn from this.
yep
What did I do wrong? How did I not prepare? What was I thinking? How can I not have this happen again?
yes yes
And that's one of the great things I love about getting to know you over the last couple of years is you're always in that mode.
yes
A couple of years ago when I talked to you, you could have swore you were dead set on being a vegan the rest of your life. I feel great. I feel clean. I got all this energy. And now talking to you, well, I've changed again,
yes
and I'm still learning. I'm still growing,
exactly
and that's a beautiful thing.
it's a beautiful thing and it's an ugly thing again
Yeah.
none of us no matter who we are we're never satisfied and of course we don't even though I'm saying you know enjoy the bad things we never really want to go through the bad things
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time um, you have to have that understanding of what's actually going on so you know every day um, we still get aggravated with the small little minute things like say the gym there's a lot of things that I want to do but thing that I really learned over this past year is the fact that I can't be hell bent on this is what I got to do today and it's going to get done because now the way I see it is the fact that when I walk in that gym, I don't know what's going to come at me, and a lot of the times the things that come at me is something very minute that takes up time.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I ain't get to do this big thing that I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
As a business owner, bro, your main job is to be a firefighter.
Yeah.
You're putting out
It's
fires.
just putting out fires everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But understanding that's just the process, and the more I get used to saying, okay, well, I know I got all these little things that's gonna come at me. Be okay, breathe. things actually
Breathe.
start getting smoother. You know, because when you don't want to do those small things that pop up, that's what usually make the time go longer trying to put those fires out because
Yeah.
you're reluctant to go and fully get it done and out the way
Give it you
because you're like,
100%.
oh, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, get it done, get it out the way so you can move. And it usually that's what usually happens. Everything starts going smooth when you like just take it and be like, okay, let me do this. All right, I got that.
Right.
I got that. I got that. All right, this. You know.
All right. So we're approaching that magical hour mark. Give the audience at home just like an action step or something that they probably need to be incorporating in their life to be a better version of themselves.
Um, One, know what your passion is, or whatever you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever you're trying to do. Me typically, I want everybody to find what their passion is. But in whatever you're doing, everybody want to be the best at what they do.
Right.
So whatever you're doing, find out what where you lack and what you most dislike about what you want to do, and go towards it. I mean,
The
that's just
obstacle is the way.
exactly because if you want to be if you want to be the best at what you do, knock out the things that you're not great at in that field. Knock them out. You know your strengths. That strengths is always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So knock out the things that you're not strong at.
Love it. Love it. All right. Before I ask my final question, where can people go and follow your journey, everything you're doing? Where can people go to find out more about everything?
You can go to my Instagram at Core Strong 010 on Instagram. You can go to my personal page on Facebook, Richard Hawthorne. You can go to Southern Elite page, Southern Elite Fitness on Instagram and on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and also my YouTube page, Richard Hawthorne. Um, I'm getting into a lot more content.
Good. You need to.
Yeah, I
Both of us
always
need
give
to.
content and then back off because of you know other
Life.
obligations and
Yeah.
life and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely putting a lot of content
Good.
on Instagram and YouTube and all that good stuff. So
Good. I love your good morning segments.
yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So last question. What is your definition of happiness?
Definition of happiness is finding your passion and letting your passion help everybody.
Living in service.
Yep.
I love it.
That's what it boils down to.
I love it. So true. It's exactly what we try to do with our lives every day. I love it. Well, Richard, thank you so much for coming on today, man. As always, bro, like you said a few things and I wanted to chase the rabbit hole, so I'm just going to have to bring you back on another time so we can chase some of those rabbit holes. Love how enlightened you are and how just giving you are. I mean, here's this guy, one of the top powerlifters in the world, and I'll never forget the day he literally took an hour and a half out of his time to teach this broke knee guy how to power lift. And he like literally was there coaching me the entire time, and he did not have to do that. So ever since then, I've had a heart for you, man, and I appreciate who you are and how you show up in the world. You're always giving, you're always doing for others, and you have an amazing, like you have this like calm, powerful energy about you, and it's amazing to be around. Every time I see you, bro, you're in a good mood, you're smiling, you're giving off that calm, powerful energy. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Same to you. I definitely enjoy, and I'm enjoying the seeing your process. You know what I mean? The things that we do as far as our passion, and you getting into your passion. I appreciate that because I know the things that even though we sometimes we don't get to talk about it or whatever, um, you always everybody will go through the same process while going through and trying to find your passion and grow in it. So
Absolutely.
definitely appreciate that and keep doing what you're doing.
Try, man. We're trying to make a difference in this world.
Oh yeah.
I think we're making our small dent. We're gonna get a lot bigger this year, though. So thank you, man. As always, guys, please go check out this man's content. And if you want to support the podcast, go to robbyangelo.com And click on the Rise Up link, guys. That's our nonprofit where we work in schools for mental health awareness. Amazing, powerful project that I'm working on right now, and I need your help. It's going to take a tribe. Once again, thank our sponsor, Neolife Physical Therapy in Dyersville. Guys, on the website, too, don't forget, it's where the swag's located. Go check out all the shirts and stuff we have on there. I'm going to be bringing you a lot more of that. But in the meantime, love you guys. Thank you so much if you're still listening. And go love, serve, and change the world. Bye, guys.